Hello everyone, it's Charlton. Please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Tap the notification bell. I'd appreciate it majorly. Okay, so I watched this interview with Lev Parnas and Rachel Maddow. It's really good, and I think there's a part 2 tomorrow night. It's very good, very good. And this guy's the problem for Trump and all of Trump's people, all the people involved, for all of them, and they can just put out blanket denials. But he's going to be trouble for these people. That doesn't mean this is the end. But I'm telling you right now, this interview was significant. This guy's not stupid, and he came across, and he has a lot of stuff. We have just seen the beginning of it. He came across as extremely believable, even though he's got a history and he's got plenty of things that, if in the end, that's not the point of my video. I'm just telling you. I'm only showing you a couple portions of this interview. I'm sure if you know me, and many of you know me quite well, I'm sure. You know which ones I'm looking at. Just one in particular, really. But just for good measure, I'll play another one. This clip right here, and I'll just play it for you. And then I want to make a real important point, about the brilliance of this conspiracy between, it's just many things. There's so many things of Trump and Clinton fixing the 2016 election, Hillary losing on purpose. That's my theory. It's just a theory. It's one I happen to believe in deeply. But just try to figure out what it is in this clip that I picked up on immediately, and then I'll comment on it. Hold on. So.
Rudy and Victoria and Joe, we had a meeting at our in our BLT office on the second floor, and at the Trump Hotel. And at that meeting with Rudy and Victoria and Joe, John brought up saying that he had some incredible information from the Firtash camp, which later we found out that was, I think, Lanny Davis gave it to him, but that it was basically what showed that Andrew Weissman was doing some illegal stuff and offering some deal, and that could blow up the smaller investigation up the kazoo.
Can I stop you there for a second? So the allegation, as you understood it, was that Andrew Weissman, one of the prosecutors working on the Mueller team, had had an interaction with Dmitry Firtash, who is under indictment by the Justice Department, who's fighting extradition here. And that interaction, Mr. Solomon was saying, would be something scandalous that would discredit the Mueller investigation.
Correct. So we were tasked basically with trying to establish a relationship. And
specifically to get information to try to discredit the Mueller investigation.
Absolutely, yeah. And basically we went I was given certain documents by John Solomon that would validate to Dmitry Firtash that I was in the loop and that I knew what was going on, because Mr. Firtash is a gentleman that just doesn't see anybody, and it's it's impossible to even get to meet with him. For us to be able to receive information from Firtash, we had to promise Firtash something. Mm-hmm. So for Firtash, it was basically telling him that we knew his case was is worthless here, and that he's being prosecuted for no reason. That basically it could get taken care of.
That was your offer to Mr. Firtash, that we can get this prosecution of you.
Your extradition case, correct? Yeah. So that was basically the situation at that point.
So the exchange with Mr. Firtash was going to be, you provide us information that will be detrimental to public perception of the Mueller investigation. And we, in turn, will get your case dropped at DOJ, so you won't get extradited to the United States anymore.
And that's how it began.
Mr. DeGeneva and Ms. Tensing were going to become his lawyers to effectuate this trade?
Correct.
And you were supposed to broker this?
Correct.
And what's this $100,000 a month?
That was expenses for them. Because
you were supposed to negotiate that this is what they get paid?
Yeah, correct.
Because you're getting paid in this interaction too?
That mine is not in there. That was they were getting $1 million plus $100,000 a month on expenses, and mine was $200,000.
And what is this here? What's that next line? Is that the founder of Burisma?
Zlochevsky's Ukraine ledger, and the Ukraine ledgers, yeah. Zlochevsky and Burisma in Ukraine.
What are you supposed to be getting about Burisma and the Ukraine ledger from Lanny Davis and Mr. Firtash?
Well, supposedly John Solomon said that there was stuff in Firtash's case about that.
So that's why this was all one conversation with Mr.
Correct.
Giuliani. Announcing the Biden investigation and talking about getting Firtash off from this Justice Department prosecution, these were connected.
It was all connected. I mean, it was all, at the end of the day, it was all, the agenda was to make sure that the Ukrainians announced the Biden investigation.
So a conservative journalist, John Solomon, and two Fox News lawyers, Joe DeGeneva and Victoria Tensing, and Rudy Giuliani and Lev Parnas, are all involved, in Mr. Parnas' telling, in an effort to enlist the help of a billionaire, Kremlin-connected, allegedly mobbed-up oligarch to help them pressure the Ukrainian government that they must announce investigations of Joe Biden. And the oligarch and his team tells this motley crew that he can help them with that, with getting that from the Ukrainian government. He can also help them discredit the Mueller investigation. They say, that'll be great. What we have to offer you in exchange is we can help stop you from being extradited to the United States to face felony corruption charges from the U.S. Department of Justice. Washington Post just this afternoon reports that Mr. Giuliani's involvement with Mr. Firtash and Mr. Firtash's sort of team appears to be an ongoing concern that appears to be live. Lev Parnas said today that his group's advocacy to get the case dropped against Mr. Firtash did go all the way to Attorney General William Barr. And he says that Attorney General Barr was more widely read in on what they were doing.
Okay, maybe I'll go back to it. So I should have made a mental note of where that was. I'm sure if you watch my channel, I would think, and I know there's, by this point, I am absolutely positive that are people that are watching my videos that, I'm not a crackpot, man. No way. And, I'm just totally onto something, man. Big time. So, what's the name that I pick up on? And it starts in the very beginning, but even in the middle of it, and that's what I wanted to hear again. It's Lanny Davis. Okay. So Lanny Davis had told John, or someone had told John, and he says he later learned that it was Lanny Davis, that he had some information that on Andrew Weissman, reportedly, that Andrew Weissman had, done something illegal to get information from somebody illegally somehow, and that they could use this to discredit the Mueller investigation. But they were getting it, according to Lev Parnas, from Lanny Davis. Because early on in this, it wasn't until exactly in July that Firtash dropped Lanny Davis and picked up Tensing and Joe DeGenova, the husband-wife pro-Trump attorneys that at one point almost became a part of his legal team. So why? And then she mentions she mentions it with him in another respect when they're looking at the paper, and the name of the executive of Burisma and the ledger, the Ukraine ledger, and again his name comes up, and I guess he claimed he could help with that too. So why would? And then I'm going to make another point. This is exactly what I've been saying all along. You know it. You all know it. Some of you know it. You know goddamn well. Totally. So why would, a super pro-Clinton, former associate, longtime associate of the Clinton, Bill and Hillary Clinton, who worked with Bill Clinton during the Clinton administration as his lead counsel. He served as special counsel to the president from 1996 to 1998, during which time He was also the spokesperson for Clinton in issues regarding campaign finance investigations and other legal issues, including President Clinton's impeachment trial. He's been a long-time associate, friend of the Clintons. Why would somebody like that be offering up information to the Trump people to destroy the Mueller investigation, which was supposed to be in response to basically Hillary losing? That unless it's exactly what I've been saying. Okay. And then I'm going to play one more point. I'm not going to play the next clip. The next clip is about Nunes, but I'm not going to play it. I just want to keep it at that. But I want to make my point, which is what there's a critical element of this conspiracy that's so vast that Trump and Hillary relied on again and again. Okay. But I just want to hear what they say.
Getting from about Burisma and the Ukraine ledger from Lanny Davis and Mr. Firtash.
Well, supposedly John
Okay,
Bolton said
getting from
Lanny Davis and Mr. Firtash.
and Burisma.
What are you supposed to be getting from about Burisma and the Ukraine ledger from Lanny Davis and Mr. Firtash?
Well, supposedly John Solomon said that there was stuff in the fictitious case about that.
One more time.
And Ukraine ledger, Luchevsky and Burisma.
What are you supposed to be getting from about Burisma and the Ukraine ledger from Lanny Davis and Mr. Firtash?
Well, supposedly John Solomon said that there was stuff in the fictitious case about that.
So that's why this was all one conversation with Mr. Giuliani.
So the claim was that, there was this goofy claim by John Solomon that basically, the Ukrainians were working with the Clinton campaign to besmirch, and they were the ones who sort of like brought the Manafort investigation back out in the open, leaked some of his information, the Black Ledger files into the public domain, which caused him to resign. He was only Trump's campaign manager for a very short time, and it was totally by design. But why would Lanny Davis be the person who would be sharing that information? Lanny Davis, an ally of Hillary Clinton, be sharing that information with John Solomon. Why? Because it's exactly what I've been saying all along. And at the end of this, the point I wanted to make is that what the Trump people, Trump and Hillary, have relied on again and again is that when they feed this stuff to liberal outlets, okay, and liberal outlets are many, whether it's MSNBC, CNN, and believe me, they have people inside here too. Well, and I don't think it's necessarily Rachel Maddow, but they do at CNN. I guarantee you. I know it. And it's just basically sort of controlled opposition, whatever you want to call it. I hate these stupid terms. But at the end of this thing is basically because they're the liberal media, they rely on the fact that when somebody that's perceived as their person comes into the story, they'll avoid it. Okay, because they see it as their guy. Just like at the end of this video, when she's naming all the characters, you do not hear the name of Lanny Davis. She says Dmitry Firtash and his team. And she doesn't make any mention of the fact that Lanny Davis is, a long-time associate of the Clintons, has continuously spoke on their behalf and advocated for them on television for years, as well as working with them, has just been close with them. But they rely on that. They rely on the fact that if they feed them somebody that they consider to be on their team, on their side, they'll sidestep it and they'll step over it and they won't point it out. Just like with Chalupa, which has been fed out there to them, and the media never follows up with it. They never followed up with it and say, well, what about Tony Podesta? because supposedly Chalupa knew ahead of time. She just had a feeling, according to this, Politico article, just had a feeling that Manafort was going to become Trump's campaign manager, and so, she's the one who was supposedly working with the Ukrainians to out him. But Tony Podesta worked directly with Paul Manafort on the topic that that is the topic. The Black Ledger topic is about the 2014, his time of supposedly receiving illegal payments from Yanukovych, doing work for Yanukovych. Tony Podesta worked alongside him during that time for Yanukovych. But because Tony Podesta, the brother of John Podesta, Hillary Clinton's campaign manager, is somebody on their side, they don't pursue it. And Trump and Hillary depend on that. And it works like a charm every time. Okay, I am going to play the Devin Nunes portion of the interview. It's only 2 minutes long. I'll close out this video with that. But before I do, if I could just expand on the point I was trying to make about Chalupa. Most of you probably, some aren't familiar with Chalupa and that portion of the story. But the point I was saying is that they're contending, according to this Politico article, that Trump, talk radio, tons of Republican congresspersons have referred to this when they were talking about Ukrainian, Hillary collusion. And they point to this person, Chalupa, as being the source of it. All right. And supposedly the story is here in the Politico. It says in January 2016, months before Manafort had taken any role in the Trump campaign, Chalupa told a senior DNC official that when it came to Trump's campaign, I felt there was a Russia connection, Chalupa recalled, and that if there was, that we can expect Paul Manafort to be involved in this election, said Chalupa, who at the time was also warning leaders in the Ukrainian American community that Manafort was Putin's political brain for manipulating U.S. foreign policy and elections. What I'm saying, very simply, but not going on and on, is that Chalupa, I'm sorry, is just a low-level person that you've never, ever heard of before and probably never hear of again. And somehow she knows that Paul Manafort's going to join the Trump campaign before it's ever announced in January of 2016. He joins it sometime, I think, in March, 3 months later. So this is the person who knew Manafort was going to join the Trump campaign before even the Trump campaign knew or made it publicly known. Not the person who worked directly alongside him or with him in Ukraine, who just so happens also to be the brother of the campaign manager of Hillary Clinton, Tony Podesta, John Podesta. And the point I was saying is that when these things are fed to the liberal media, they don't follow up on it because, like I said, they perceive those people, Hillary Clinton, John Podesta, Tony Podesta, to be their guys. And Hillary and Trump have relied on this strategy again and again, and it works every time. So here's the Devin Nunes clip. And, I could talk about this because it does involve, a trip to Europe. This is about, according to a CNN article that was about Lev Parnas and Devin Nunes. He claimed that Devin Nunes took a trip to Europe. We don't know. He said Vienna. Lev Parnas said Vienna. It's recorded that, he took a trip to Europe. We just don't know if he went to Austria or Vienna. I'll go into it a little bit more after the video, after I play the clip.
Congressman Devin Nunes.
Yes, I do.
What's been your relationship with him?
We don't have too much of a relationship. We met several times at the Trump Hotel, but our relationship started basically where it expanded was when I was introduced to his aide, Derek Harvey. And the reason why Derek Harvey was more of I was told at that time is because Devin Nunes just had something to do with the next ethics committee, and he couldn't be in the spotlight. He was kind of shunned a little bit. and that he was looking into this Ukraine stuff also, and wanted to help out. And Devin, they gave me Derek Harvey to deal with.
You told Mr. Harvey what you and Mr. Giuliani were working on in Ukraine, trying to get Ukraine to announce these investigations.
He was aware of that already. He knew everything.
He already knew that by the time he talked to you.
He had a lot of information already.
Do you believe he'd gotten that information from Mr. Giuliani?
No. I think that like I said, there was other people doing like this op-ed research or whatever. I don't know what you call it, but it was coming from different sides. Yeah.
Given that interaction that you just described with Congressman Nunes and his aide, Mr. Harvey, does it strike you as unusual or inappropriate that Devin Nunes would be one of the lead investigators into this scandal on the House Intelligence Committee? He's obviously the top Republican on that committee.
I was in shock when I was watching the hearings, and when I saw Devin, when he was sitting up there, and then there was a picture where Derek Harvey was in back over there sitting. I texted my attorney. I said, I can't believe this is happening.
Because?
Well, because they were involved in getting all this stuff from Biden. I mean, Derek Harvey had several interviews, Skype interviews that I set up with different prosecutors, like Nazar Holoditsky, which is the anti-corruption prosecutor of Ukraine, Kulik, Konstantin Kulik, who's one of the major guys that had this whole Biden stuff. So it's hard to see them lie like that when you know it's like that. It's scary because, you know, he was sitting there and making all these statements and all that when he knew very well that he knew what was going on. He knew what's happening. He knows who I am.
Again, Congressman Devin Nunes is the top Republican on the Intelligence Committee, which is the committee that investigated the Ukraine scandal. Lev Parnas says that Mr. Nunes and his top staffer were actually involved in the Ukraine scandal in the sense that they were involved in the effort to try to gin up a corruption scandal for Joe Biden in Ukraine. Mr. Parnas says he helped them in that effort. We contacted Congressman Nunes' office for comment tonight. We did not receive any reply before airtime. We'll let you know if that changes before we're off the air.
All right, so I don't want to go into it too much, at all, and but that portion is significant to the first portion because, of allegedly, Devin Nunes' trip to Europe, and we don't know if he went to Vienna or Austria. Lev Parnas said he did. Lev Parnas says Viktor Shokin told him that he went to Vienna. I mean, that's what it says here. Mr. Parnas learned from from Ukrainian Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin that Nunes had met Shokin in Vienna last December, said Bondi. That's the attorney who's sitting next to Lev Parnas in there. And we don't know if that's been verified yet, but congressional travel records show that Nunes and three aides traveled to Europe from November 30th to December 3rd, 2018. The records do not specify that Nunes and his staff went to Vienna or Austria, and Nunes was not required to disclose the exact details of the trip. So we don't know. But my point is that if he did go to Vienna or Austria, if he, that's where Dmitry Firtash is, and at that time, Lanny Davis was still his attorney. One of his legal team in the United States, and so it kind of just harkens back to the first part of this video that I was, the connection that Clinton and Trump. So, that's it. That's the story there, dude. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's a great video. I mean, a great interview, and it just is, and it's not going away. I bet anything that after that interview, and there was way more to it, that they're going to want him to testify in this hearing. You can't, if you think it's an accident that this interview and these things happen immediately before the impeachment hearing, you're dreaming. And and so many people, even the liberal media, has said that that Nancy Pelosi failed, and it didn't work. Her bluff didn't work. Well, now you know why. Now you know why she was holding off. This is it, dude. No doubt about it. And it's just got way more to go, dude. And it's not nothing. It doesn't mean Trump's toast, but it's not nothing. It's not nothing at all. That's the story there. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. See you in the next video. Later, man.